This is Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling.
Welcome to another episode of Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. With us, as always, we got the Brothers of Destruction down in New Orleans. I see you with the wolf pack right here.
Right.
What's good, fellas? Man, this is a pretty newsworthy week, and I know you guys are ready for today to record and just rap about the day of infamy in wrestling that we'll never forget. Like, someone died in the ring before. Like,
right.
People lost their jobs. It sucks, and we'll get to it. But I don't know. Let's just go off the top. Like, the cuts that were made. WWE released roughly 40.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the list now.
Yep, 40 in-ring talent on main roster NXT. And the word around the water cooler is that they furloughed the agents, and they could come back maybe.
Yeah, maybe the referee too.
I also heard it was going to go up to like 100, according to Meltzer. But I mean, you want to take that.
Shout out to the bald dude from Brazzers that got cut on NXT.
Like, who is that dude?
He was like doing the rope workout on like the screenshot. I'm like, is that the dude that's in all the Brazzer movies? The bald dude? Like, who is this?
He got paid to go to Planet Fitness every day.
Apollo Crews.
Right.
Dude, I guarantee you, like, I know we're going to be funny about, like, we're not laughing about people losing their jobs.
Nah.
It's the circumstance of everything of what happens. Everybody deals with things differently. We're going to deal with it with humor. We're going to do maybe some things on this episode that might annoy people, like fantasy booking where these people should go next. But that's just what we're going to do, because that's the initial reaction. Like, it's not the end of the world for them. I know all the wrestling companies are not running right now, and so it's going to be more challenging to get a wrestling gig, but we'll get into that. But who's going to be the JTG of the main roster at this juncture? Like, dude, Apollo Crews is going to be one of those dudes who are like, dude, he still works there?
Right.
Like, Primo and Epico were on the list. And I'm like, dude, when was the last time that you saw them wrestle, dude?
What? They were on a roster.
I think I heard that they wrestled. I think it was like last year in Puerto Rico. So it's like they only use them for like the like those Puerto Rico tours.
Were they the Los Matadores? Is that the gimmick that they gave them after they were like the travel agents?
Pretty much. I forgot about the travel agent thing.
Rising Stars or whatever.
I looked it up. I think Primo's last match was in February
2019.
Yeah.
Why are you still there? Like, what? So there's people who got cut that you're like, they're not doing anything with them. Who do you think was the most shocking name that didn't that got the pink slip?
That did it?
The obvious answer, I think the one that jumped off the page right away was Carl Anderson. Like,
right.
I saw that out of nowhere because I mean, I haven't been paying attention to the product lately, but I know they're pretty much a big deal being associated with AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
Well, I'm gonna say, Undertaker should have just buried them too. It would have went along with the release.
Well, now the Good Brothers are in the Boneyard with Ricochet. So,
but then he get thrown off the roof, both of them. So that was writing them off.
And I know that's their name, Good Brothers. Shout out to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah,
followers of the Kayfabe Connection.
Welcome back.
Drank a Bud Light Lime with them in Toronto. They're good guys, man. And from the jump, it was one of those things where I think I was talking to your brother. I think I was talking to Logan about this. I think Wrestle Kingdom, when Knox fought AJ Styles, first of all, quote the Raven, Trevor Moore, I love you, but you were an asshole that night because this dude, oh shit, did you hear Nakamura and AJ Styles? He like spoils it. And I'm like, what do you get? What, huh? Why are you saying spoilers when there's a match on Wrestle Kingdom happening. But I say that to say this. That night, I think that's the turn for me when I was like, when you finally weren't hyped about a name going to WWE and you were like what, like instantly I'm Nakamura. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, track record, all the Japanese talent wasted there, choppy, PP, all that horse shit.
I'm surprised he hasn't like sprayed mustache somebody yet. I was waiting for that to happen, or maybe some Mr. Fuji salt. Pour some salt on his tights.
When Karate Kid, like genteel racist stuff, like. But that night, I remember I was the weirdo because I always hosted the wrestling parties. I was the weirdo that night where my friends were like, "Oh, dude, like high five, yeah!" Like, and I was the only one where I'm like, "This is shitty," like, because the AJ Bullet Club run, Gallows and Anderson's Bullet Club run, and then Nakamura, they just had this epic match. I'm like, "Fuck, man!" Like, it's gonna go downhill from here. Right. I don't know what good's gonna come out. Now, granted, AJ Styles, the first year, we'll say his first year run in WWE was great. I was there at the Rumble in Orlando. He came out. We all went nuts. Vince was he did the Jericho thing with him where, oh, he's small and I don't really know what the hype's about. He had to like earn his keep, kind of like how Jericho did. But he got a good run. He got a good run as a champ.
Right.
But out of that, that's it. Nakamura has been brutally wasted. We've already discussed it on the last episode. But then you got guys like Gallows and Anderson. How hard would it have been for the Raw after WrestleMania where AJ Styles is wrestling anybody and out comes Gallows and Anderson. They hit the magic killer. They too sweet. Then Finn Balor comes into the ring and maybe it's one of his friends they were wrestling. You're thinking he's going to like jump them. They all too sweet. That's how you end the Raw after. Like how, like, you don't even have, that's lazy. You don't even have to do anything. And it's on a silver platter. Like most wrestling fans would eat this up. They have these opportunities that it's like they have 100 writers, but you don't even need them. You have these moments that could have been made. Now everybody flips out of, oh man, the AJ Finn Balor match. When was that? That one pay-per-view that went to hell and like people got sick and stuff. And it was it was supposed to be Sister Abigail versus
I get sick every time. I got sick every time I watch this shit, so I can't tell you.
I forget the pay-per-view name, but it was supposed to be Sister Abigail versus the Demon Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt and Roman and some other people, they got like real sick. And so they had to fly AJ in and they did a one-off like AJ versus Finn match.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember.
Why did it take an illness, a company-wide illness, for them to go, yo, this would be tight? Because like they have Bullet Club tight, and it's like anything that does not happen in that company, it's like, no, we can't do it. And former Kayfabe co-host Deion Wells, this is one of my favorite sayings he used to say was, Vince McMahon will cut his own nose off to spite his own face. Like, and we see it with this stuff. So Gallows and Anderson, you're right. I think at the top of the list, that's the biggest outrage, is what they had one run with the tag belts and it was like a cup of coffee and they were done. And, back when I watched, they had a pay-per-view in Indy. They had Clash of Champions. It was New Day. Of course it was New Day. Like, there's no other tag teams in the division from, like, the last 8 years.
Right.
And I love them, and I think they're all great guys, and shout out to them for their success. And it's not their fault. I'll preface it with that, but good grief, man. And New Day had already had that lengthy, like, what was it, like 436-day title reign?
I lost track.
And then Gallows and Anderson, I'm like, surely they're going to win the belts. Like, why the hell else would they randomly be on this pay-per-view? Nope, they lost. And I believe it was the opening match on the pay-per-view. I was, like, sour after that. Like, I was yelling. And we were ringside, so we were yelling at the ring, like, this is horrible, Their run was just criminal in WWE.
Right.
And they and Rusev and others, some of these other casualties on this list, they will now be examples that will change the narrative. They're going to change the wrestling narrative that is, The boyhood dream. Everybody's dream is to go to WWE. It's the only company in town. You got to have your Mania moment. You got to be on the pay-per-view. You got to have the property of shirt to feel like you've made it in wrestling. Look at MVP, who ironically works there now. He famously has said, like, my goal as a wrestler, I wanted to go to the Tokyo Dome. And facts, rumors, knowledge, MVP is the first Intercontinental Champion in IWGP history.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he will give respect to MVP. He kind of paved that way by coming out publicly and admitting, you know, that the unpopular opinion that it's not everybody's wrestler dream to go to WWE. And hopefully with these cuts, people see that narrative changes. And Larry, I know I don't want to sit here and hog this. I feel like I've been rambling, but like, I know you can speak on this and you're pretty passionate about it. It's one thing if these cuts happened randomly, spring clean and stuff like that. It's another when you're dealing with pandemic type stuff.
Right.
And you're out there in the field, right?
Every day.
Every day you're out there, and we're not going to, this is a wrestling podcast, we're not going to disclose our whereabouts, parts unknown status. But just kind of speak on that, like, this is worse. This is not just, they quote unquote needed to make some cuts. You had brought that article up earlier today, how much money they're making despite all this stuff happening right now.
They projected, actually right now, I saw a tweet earlier, they projected the gross just under $1 billion.
You can't keep your, like,
I honestly don't understand, like, if you on projection to gross that much, like, are you like writing down like, oh, let me cut Rusev's $700,000 a year salary? That's gonna save us. I don't understand.
Yeah, what? not a dent. That's not gonna leave a dent.
But the minute I say that on Twitter, I'm not gonna even mention names, but y'all know who I'm talking about from a certain podcast. They like go crazy about this stuff. It's like they'll defend Vince McMahon to the end.
Oh, there's a rhyme and a reason for everything. He's the creative genius. It was not Cyndi Lauper and Hulk Hogan and all those people, Mr. T, who were responsible for birthing Mania. It was Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr.
Well, here's the actual figures right here. They will gross just under $1 billion this year, a company record, first time in WWE history, without even selling ticket or piece of merch for the rest of the year. They already grossing under $1 billion, just under $1 billion.
We talked about this off podcast. We're not going to be like every other podcast who they talk about this stuff that's happening. We're not going to say it on the YouTube because we know YouTube's going to be like, if we even mention the stuff that's happening. And this is a good distraction from that stuff. But it is important to note, and it is significant to note, that this stuff that's happening right now is identical. It's art imitating life. We are now hearing we got to get back out in the workforce. We got to reopen America. We got to reopen. It's the same thing with Vince McMahon and WWE. There are two main sources of income. TV deals, right? Sponsorships, which kind of go one hand wash the other, right?
Right.
TV deal. They can't run Livewire or whatever the hell, Confidential. They're not going to run any of that stuff. They're like, no, we're going to have wrestlers come, we'll take their temperature, and then they're going to wrestle because we got to make this TV money. Because, dude, can you imagine if they did not have those two things, if they did not have that lucrative TV deal? Fox just pulled the Brinks truck out for them.
Oh, they would definitely.
Goldberg beat The Fiend. Like,
the list of people cut would be even longer then, but that's the thing. Like, they haven't cut them. They're still getting their money.
That TV would look like the In Your House era.
Yeah, dude.
And you had Crush facing Diesel in main events or whatever, like.
Because those lucrative, right? Because those lucrative deals gave them the balls to just sign people that they knew they'd have no interest in.
There you go. And this is a publicly traded company, so anybody that says these numbers are false, they can look them up themselves. But according to this, they'll bring in Just about 73 million a month for the rest of the year in TV revenue alone.
Wow.
To watch Elias fall on a crash mat. Man, it's so damn frustrating. And I swear when wrestling's back up and running again, trust me, we're going to have plenty of Ring of Honor, New Japan, PWG, OTT. The list goes on and on and on. It sucks that right now we're minimalized really down to WWE, which is mainly like from afar, like what the hell are they doing? And then AEW programming.
Right.
And even right now, we admittedly, yeah, I know I got the banner in here, and I'm this big slappy AEW guy. Dynamite was not good this week. I was in here playing Mortal Kombat most of the time and listening for like what was happening, and nothing really made me. The bubbly bunch was hilarious.
To be honest, I'm getting tired of the empty fan shows in general. Like, it's to the point now where I just watch Dynamite when I get home, and I just watch it. I get to it when I get to it, but
Yeah, I mean,
I'm having more enjoyment right now watching old stuff, actually.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're just mailing it in now,
You're right. And it's like, you're not going to go, dude, you're not going to go out and get hurt, like, out for a year with an injury with nobody in the crowd. Like, you're not going to try to go balls to the wall. But at the same time, it's like, well, you're on TV and the cameras are rolling, man. So we got to do something with this right now. Either we're going to have mailed in paint by number matches, or we're just going to air pay-per-views and different shit. And like, honest to goodness, dude, and I was just thinking about this. I haven't listened to it yet, but the AEW Unrestricted podcast, solid. I like Aubrey and Tony. I think they play off each other well.
Yeah.
The Dustin Rhodes episode, I haven't listened yet.
Yeah, it just dropped.
Why can't you just drop like the 2 hours, dude? That's an hour that you could fill in, or hour and some change, and then put like a good match like Moxley Jericho from Revolution. Put that on the end of the and
put Dustin Cody on. Put Dustin Cody on TV.
Right.
More people need to see that match.
That'll fill up almost a whole hour right there.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of like, not saying this is like a permanent fix, but like there's ways to remedy this to where we're not presenting a product that is really, I'm not going to say killing the brand because that's super like over dramatic. I don't want to sound like the Twitter, like Seth Rollins girl, kitty66 on Twitter, who doesn't have a human being face. It's like Seth Rollins with his white, like SummerSlam costume, like any of those people where like their Twitter name is like a wrestler dude, and the wrestler's name, it's like, you're a weirdo.
Right.
Like, I don't want to sound like them with the constant, oh, it's the death of AEW. They lost ratings 2 weeks in a row. And
they're going to be on Kurt
the
TV.
numbers are dwindling down to like 500, like high 500,000, like low 600,000. We got to come up with something different, man. And I know it's no fault of their own. We're in weird times right now. But we've discussed this at length already. They have to do something different because the empty arena stuff is just not working. And Hager Moxley was a testament to that. Because look at Rock Hogan from 18 with no crowd. That would be the wackest shit ever. Like, what moves were executed in that?
Half of that match was them staring at each other for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And that was one of the best parts of the match.
So it's just it's a strange time, and we don't know the legality of like their TV deals and like what the agreement is with TNT, or like what needs to be done or what they could do or what they have wiggle room to do. We're not executives. We're all sitting here in our houses right now, like. But it's just, it's a popular topic to think about.
Right.
But circling back to the firings in WWE, so we had the Good Brothers, we had Rusev, we had several others. Mike Kanellis and Maria. Let's just go at it. And we're gonna book these people in different companies. In a perfect world, wrestling's back. Where will we put these people? Gallows and Anderson, we don't even need to answer that because it's already obvious they're going to be there and they're going to be in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, Anderson already pretty much said he's going to Japan. So,
Talking Shops back on MLW. Check that podcast out. Hilarious.
Right.
Do you see a Rusev like even wrestling after this?
I hope so, because he has a lot of untapped potential, and I think he kind of reminds me of like that Mike Elgin type, like 90s All Japan type wrestler. I think he'll fit in with modern day New Japan right now, actually.
I don't really see him going to New Japan. I think he'll probably end up in Impact.
I can see that too.
Right.
But I would love for him to be in New Japan.
Right.
Like imagine like Rusev versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Right.
I was thinking Jeff Cobb, a match with Jeff Cobb. I don't know which
Jeff
company,
Cobb too.
but
Yeah.
I think Rusev and Jeff Cobb would be a great match. Hell, even Elgin, you brought up Elgin. I wouldn't mind seeing Elgin and Rusev. I think that could be a banger of a match.
You can see that at Impact. It's kind of hard to see him in Japan, maybe because he was a homegrown talent inside the PC, so he didn't have any indie. Nobody knows his indie origins.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, back when I used to collect those NXT figs, the one with him with the towel, like,
oh yeah,
that was like, dude, that was like Tito Santana status. Like, every time we would go fig hunting, it's like there's like 5 Tito Santanas just lonely, just hanging out on the peg, just Akon lonely.
They should have let him keep that look, you know.
But what's crazy is Freudian slip. Lana's still on Raw giving Lashley massages. So Rusev might as well just be a stay-at-home husband right now and just
he probably
chill.
would do that.
Dude, just sitting poolside. Like his wife is making 6 figures to massage Bobby Lashley. Like how easy, and do whack TikTok videos in her free time. Like you have the best job ever. Like easy. You don't have to do shit.
Right.
Sit poolside and just quarantine. Like, so Rusev is that weird. I think Rusev is the oddest duck out of the group that got released because I don't know where a fit would be for him.
Right.
It's hard to speculate, like, because typically with most of these people, you could go, oh yeah, I could definitely, like Mike and Maria, Ring of Honor, dude. Right. Matt Taven and Vinny have been feuding. You could have the Kingdom kind of come back together and have Mike save them, or whatever.
All right.
Easy. That's an easy one right there. I know we're not going to poke fun at people losing their jobs again. Drake Maverick was one of those guys, though, where, dude, he had the teary-eyed, like, heartfelt video. I'll never tell another, like, person, another man, like, how they should respond to stuff, because I've been there in my own personal life, and we've had these discussions off topic. I know we can all attest to this. Being at a job and you want to say what you want to say, but you can't say it. And so I think that's the case with a lot of these people that get released. Dude, every person that gets released, it's like, thanks for the opportunity. I saw so many countries and lived my dreams out. Like, I want one, like, wild, like, spicy tweet where someone's like, yo, Vince, suck my dick.
Like an ACH
I want
thing,
that Scott Steiner, like, Shane Douglas energy. Like, why? I just need one wrestler that's released from WWE to flat out, like, as soon as he gets the call from Kanan Seaman, that whatever that douchebag is, or Mark Carrano, whoever the fuck's talking to him on their phone call, that they hang up and they get right on their phone and they're like, at Vince McMahon, suck my dick. I want just one person, dude. Right. Somebody needs to do it. But Larry talked about it last week. The winners always write the history books, right?
Yep.
Rare. I was thinking about this yesterday. I watched Dark Side of the Ring. Jimmy Snuka. We've all seen that one. We already knew that story.
Yeah, but
because that's like
obviously Vince didn't know it. I guess because he continued to push him after that. But that's another story.
I'll sip my caffeine-free mug root beer to that one. So we have all these instances, the Ashley Mazzaro story. I'm not going to be on here with like Jesse Ventura shit. Like, go Google Ashley Mazzaro military troops, WWE, whatever. Google that. I read the whole Alpha David. That made me sick to my stomach reading that. Right. The Jimmy Snuka thing. We go on and on. Owen Hart, Blue Blazer, Bret Hart. We can go on and on and on and on and on with all these things. But people in power, they get to tell the narrative. They have the power and the influence and the money that they get to tell the narrative. And, well, why didn't these people speak up? You always hear that stuff. Well, we know why.
Right.
And it's kind of the undercurrent of like, oh, man, like Jimmy Snuka, like, murdered someone and got away with it. Like, it was always the little scuttlebutt about that company. So, like, I think it would definitely change things if people just spoke up and spoke out about it. Surprisingly, now that I'm thinking of this, we see Zack Ryder, #1 selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. Excuse me, Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, the artist formerly known as Zack Ryder.
I'm surprised at him. I'm surprised. I'm probably more surprised at him more than Guns and Gallows.
I feel like that RF video shoot is gonna be just like I'll shell out my $9.95 for that 2 hours where like the YouTube where like they show the highlights and you're like, ooh, like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go there right now and get that one. Like,
been there forever.
So yeah, I feel like the Zack Ryder thing, that was the most surprising one outside of Gallows and Anderson. 14 years. Look at how that's all the times they did him dirty, man. Like,
he rode them off stage.
After he put him, mind you, he put himself over. Like, he was being an elite before, when you think about it.
Yeah. He went viral.
Built his own empire on YouTube.
Yeah,
he took advantage of it.
Yeah, he went viral on his own time. He made his own belt. Dude made his own belt that ended up going into the video game.
Right.
That's never happened. Like, he made the most of his opportunity. And
how many people started doing signature belts after that? Like,
Yep. Yeah, so like I honestly feel like he might be the one, especially we joked about him and Cody being the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. That'd be a dope tag team name, just throwing it out there. In AEW, I would like to see him go. That's we're not, and notice we've not been like for every release wrestlers like, oh, they're going. We want all these people to go to AEW. No, you need to be selective about who you bring over. But I think Zack Ryder would be a huge pickup.
Super
for him to just go.
Right.
And
he'll be over with that crowd too.
Right.
Can you imagine him going to do the woo 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 and then just being like that, so in the crowd just losing it, and him just cutting like a 10-minute like shoot promo on like getting shoved off the wheelchair, like throwing the nuances, and they would eat it up. So I and not Hawkins, like I think honestly I see him with Pat Buck doing the Create a Pro Wrestler like wrestling school. I see him more doing that. He's got a baby and like he's been married to his wife for a little bit. Like I don't know anybody's personal life. I don't know them personally. It's like weird like talking about their personal life because I don't know them. But
who knows? Create a Pro Wrestler could be a feeder program for AEW or something. You never know.
But he could be a solid trainer too. Like I could see him. I just don't, dude. His indie run was trash.
I was surprised when he did Bola.
Dude, his Bola match. It was like, this is the most despicable match. How do you have a whack AJ Styles match?
Right.
Like whenever I think of what's the worst AJ Styles match, the Brian Myers AJ Styles match from Bola. So there's that. I'm trying to think where some other people could land. Drake Maverick, I think he's super, super underrated. Dude cut an angle on his wedding day. How you gonna pink slip that guy? Like
exactly.
His heart's in it, man. And like, dude, when they made him,
he could do multiple things too. That's the thing. Like, he doesn't have to just be a wrestler. He could be a producer. He could be a commentator. Like, he could be like another Colt Cabana type person where he could be used across different platforms.
Right. All it takes is for him to do a GCW show or a spring break.
Rockstar Spud versus Joey Janela.
Right, he'll be super over.
Well, and it's like
versus the great Sasuke.
Right.
yeah, and Rockstar Spud, book it, sauce it, like JR said, sauce it, dude. Yeah, man, like he is very versatile and could be anybody that picks him up is winning. Like TNA's like Impact is like the obvious, like, oh, he's gonna go back, but I don't see that. Fuck it, man. EC3 comes into NWA.
Oh, gotta give him a time.
Perfect.
I wasn't excited about EC3 till I saw his promo with the new character he's working on. Like, to me, that's a perfect fit for NWA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
And have Drake Maverick be his mouthpiece.
So anybody who hasn't seen the video, they need to go to Instagram and check it out.
I loved, and you could tell, I didn't know if he was just going with something different on like social media, like making fun of social media, but he was like working out and like making fun of people who put like motivational like speeches and like, oh, what's your excuse? I'm working out. Like,
shout out to The Rock.
Iron Paradise, I'm eating my French toast, and I like The Rock, man. Everybody,
I know that problem with The Rock.
Oh yeah, $7, man. Shout out to Mr. $7 himself. Like, it's easy, it's low hanging fruit to like tease him, but he is like the nicest dude ever. Like,
right.
And he watches AEW. Don't forget that. He said it.
Facts, yeah. No, nothing but love for The Rock, but yeah, he loves to post his workout stuff though. That's for sure. With a crew of like 100 people that set up those tents everywhere like it's a circus or something. Okay, we're getting off track there. NWA, I think anybody else that got released that could be a good fit for NWA, because I think EC3 is perfect, and again, you could have Spud be his mouthpiece.
Well, to piggyback off I said last week,
Brian Myers.
No, let me finish my point. To piggyback off of what I said last week, I think the Revival, or whatever they're being called right now, they're like a perfect fit for NWA.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, they should go there before they do AEW, because
do the Marty route.
Them having an NWA tag belts, like it has storylines written all over it. They can go into AEW and be like, oh, these are the real tag team belts. Look at the lineage these belts hold.
So I just had a light bulb go off at the top of my head. Do you think hell would freeze over and it wouldn't be a full-time like contract thing? Maybe it'd just be like just for a run against the Bucks. Dude, how dope would it be to have a Revival versus Bucks feud? Have them, maybe won by like one of the dude, like Scott Dawson comes in one week, the other, and then they finally band together. Then you get the face off with the Bucks. Then the next Dynamite or the next thing, or hell, maybe even a pay-per-view. Dude comes out with his tennis racket, and you got Jim Cornette as the manager of the Revival in a feud versus the Bucks.
That would get him good heat. That would
be money.
The heat.
The heat, dude. The heat. Nuclear hot.
Let Cornette get a hold of Matt Nick and beat him with a tennis racket. Boy, he's going to need security getting out that arena like it's Bill Watts in 1980.
It's going to look like Nitro when they throw trash in the ring.
Oh, it's going to look like Miz Sutton.
Nash is like scooping the trash out of his hair.
Yeah.
It's going to look like Miz Sutton when fans were like literally like threatening wrestlers because they thought it was real.
Dude, one night stand with Cena, they had to like pull the van up like to the back of the Hammerstein and like shove them in it.
Wow.
The crowd was ready to lose it. Dude, hilarious. Yeah, it's everybody's gonna have their own approach to this. Excuse me. There's no right or wrong. Like, I think the biggest thing that with the releases is when people made it out the day of infamy in wrestling, and we're like, dude, like there's been really horrible tragedies like the Benoit stuff. I mean, the list goes on with the Owen Hart passing.
There were cuts. It was a few years ago. They cut like 10% of the roster. What was that? A couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I think what hurts about this one is the timing of it all. That's the
biggest thing. Is why people are And I feel for them because I feel for anybody right now. Like, I'm gainfully employed, like, and I get to do it from home. I'm not out there. My buddy Joe, shout out to him. He's out in the field every day. And I know his nerves are through the wall, like, dude, being essential and like,
Oh, you preaching to the choir on that.
yeah, and you're out there too. Logan was out there for a little bit. Now he's at home.
Right.
But that's the thing too. Like he's releasing these people. Where are they gonna work right now? There's nowhere for them to work right now. And God knows when it's gonna get back to normal where they can get a job.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like the natural thing in me wants to be like, oh, they're wrestlers, like they got a bank account, like they're not gonna hurt. And it would behoove me to say that because like I hate when people evaluate things like, oh, if you're outraged about this, well, this isn't an outrage thing. Like, yeah, there's people on the front lines, there's people out there, there's people that, you know, I at a time like this, I don't think about wrestlers. I think about people that lived in like domestic abuse households and kids that were going hungry and dealing with, you know, whatever stuff they were dealing with in their home, at-risk students, all kinds of different things, man. I think about those people. I don't think, my brain does not go to wrestlers and be like, oh man, like thoughts and prayers for these. Like they'll bounce on their feet, man. They have skills, they have talent.
Right.
Yeah, wrestling isn't like ongoing right now, but they'll get the right fit. And they have a name. Like we got like 53 subs right now. We're just 3 dudes shooting the shit. And I would like it to grow and become something. But if I was like Kayfabe Connection just got fired from WWE guy, and I start a podcast, dude, we're getting popular, like we're getting hits, subs, all kinds of shit.
Look at Anderson and Gallows. They shot the number 5 on the iTunes chart overnight.
And they haven't done it in what, 4 years?
They did like a little 8-minute episode last week before they announced
20-minute episode done. Yeah, done. Now they're gonna have Me Undies and whatever the fuck, the Manscaped, whatever the fuck that thing. Like, shout out to those people. I'm not dogging them.
Luchu and all of that stuff.
Luchu, yeah, you know. I'm just saying that to say this. Yeah, they're gonna bounce back, and they have a name to do something with, whether it's voice acting or, you know, podcasting or, you know, anything. So I'm not going to sit here and grieve on Twitter over wrestlers being fired. In totality, I think it all sucks. Anybody that has some sort of job security reservations or has been fired, you know, I feel for those people. And I hope everything is quick for this and they can bounce back. They can financially get back to where they need to be. And that's it. That's all I'll say about that. That doesn't, I mean, that's obvious. That doesn't even need to be said.
Mike Chioda, I mean, he was there since 1989 and he got let go. I'm sure his retirement is looking all right. I mean, I'm not sure what the situation is, but I'm sure he's all right.
Well, maybe he should have saved, like Braun said on Twitter. Maybe he should have saved these hands.
Dude been working since I was born.
I'm a giant ogre, but I'm gonna shit on people that aren't 7 foot tall in tough man competitions. What do? Eat and lift weights. Sorry, big guy heat. I'm sorry. You're a big dude. You had avenues to go down. Your big dude is like a hot chick. Somebody's gonna take care of you. Like you're good.
Especially in Vince's company.
Yeah. Somebody will take you, like, you're good. Woo, like, hot chick. She lives in a nice house and shops at Target and doesn't work and, like, has no job skills. She doesn't need to. Same with a big dude. You're a big, giant dude. You're going to be a tough man guy or a fighter or a bouncer or, you know, a wrestler. And you don't have to have a lot of skills to do this and kick and punch and lift people and press slam them. I hate minimalizing people because there are big guys. Shout out to Bam Bam Bigelow, rest in peace. Shout out to man from Boulder, Colorado, Vader. Shout
Mike
out to
Awesome.
that big man. Mike, shout out to Mike Awesome. We could go on and on with bigs
those
that
guys
can actually
work.
So that's not a stereotype that all
Kane.
big men are just punch kick guys.
Yeah. King, yeah.
Big Show.
Can't you go? Big Show. Shout out to Big Show. Dude, I binge watched his Netflix show. It's
How is it? I actually want to watch it.
It's Full House with Big Show. It's dope. Like
I'm
I
down with
watched
that.
it. Like
I
I
might
could
have to give
see.
it a try.
Remember TGIF like on ABC's like Boy Meets World and all that?
Right.
It reminds me of a show that would be like after dinosaurs. Like,
Yeah, come
oh
on,
shit, Big Show.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Right
It
before
was
Step by
tight.
Step. Shout out to Cody. Step by
Right.
Step.
Shout out to all the TGIF shows. Yeah, man. So it's like that shit's so annoying, dude. I'm big and like shitty wrestlers, indie guys. What indie matches? What did you have to? Did you have to go drive 8 hours to get a hot dog? Like, no.
Hey, but he
That-
did
that's
say
the
he
same
drove.
with Baron Corbin too.
He drove to the performance center.
Baron Corbin Baron Corbin did this tweet like bashing like, how dare you insult my employees when they lost their job, dude. You're either grilling steaks or like showing your watch collection or your Ferraris. Like that, I think that's the thing that annoys me. It's the self-righteousness that people have in all these times of like, oh, I'm gonna stay off wrestling Twitter today because people are just being insensitive about wrestlers being fired. Like, dude, come on, man.
The Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin's of the world. And yeah, they know me on Twitter.
Mute. Come on, dude. Yeah, the self-righteousness, man. It gets real, especially times like these. And especially those lifers too. Those people that company can do no wrong. They come to the aid to like swoop in, like, oh, somebody's saying something critical about, they got to jump in and say their piece. But yeah, it's just weird times right now, man. And it's like, we're doing a wrestling podcast. There really isn't any like real wrestling happening right now. Damn sure not getting it on Monday and Friday nights.
I'm praying that the Japanese scene gets back to normal soon because they're ahead of us by a couple of months in this virus pandemic. So
your brother was right. Your
what
brother
you mean
was
it's
right.
over here? We ahead of them. It's over. In United States.
Well, that's another discussion for another podcast. I ain't gonna get into that.
But dude, like, look at the city of LA said they're not going to hold sporting events until what, 2021?
At least
you're not gonna have a bowler at least.
So is WrestleMania going to be another empty arena situation? Like,
well, maybe they'll move it to Texas or Florida. Who knows?
Oh, man.
Whatever dumbass state is letting people just go out and hug each other and work with each other in 2 weeks from now or whatever. Like, shout out to Ohio and Florida, the smartest states in the United States. Sarcasm for you. Maybe they'll hold it in like Columbus, Ohio. They'll have Mania from Columbus, Hollywood, WrestleMania Hollywood in Columbus, Ohio. Dude, can you imagine? Oh my god!
It's gonna be in the gym in LeBron school.
Yo, right? What was it? What's it called?
What Inspire Academy? Or something?
Yeah, Inspire Academy.
It's gonna be at the gym. And they'll put LeBron in the Hall of Fame after that.
Yeah, and it's funny too because people act like he's the first basketball player to open up a school, but I don't know. Shout out, what up, though, Jalen Rose? Shout out to the Jalen Rose Academy in Detroit.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Not gonna be able to do it.
He
Shout
never
out
won
to
a
Jalen
title.
Rose.
He never been to the finals.
Yeah, but yeah, I when it comes to wrestling right now, we're just in weird times. It's like Larry said, it's a situation where it's like, man, I'm just gonna go run back old pay-per-views that I forgot about or matches I've never seen. Like, I've seen like the top 50 moves of Hayabusa, but I've not sat down and been like, oh, I'm gonna watch a Hayabusa match. I got the 6-disc anthology of Hayabusa. I'm gonna go watch Hayabusa matches. Because again, We're not all fake gatekeepers here. Like, yo, I watched Hayabusa since he was like 16, like
Right.
when he was out in the barn, like practicing. No, I know the name and I've watched the highlight reels, but I have not sat down and went with a bowl of popcorn and was like, I'm gonna watch this Hayabusa match right now. No, watched highlights. So I think that is something that's important to do now, is just appreciate, you know, the matches that we've had and those classic matches of yesteryear, and just enjoy that and go off that. ECW is fun, dude. Like, I've went back and run it back, but especially now it's like I got the bug again. Like, I just want to watch everything ECW.
Right.
It makes me feel good. And I don't want to say, well, I just forget all about like wrestling right now, but it kind of supplements the absence of all this. Like, it kind of does like fill me up, so to speak, with like wrestling. Like, well, I'm good. Like, I got my fix. Like, because out of all companies and stuff like that, it was to me like the most entertaining, the best wrestling. That's not up for debate, but the most entertaining. Yeah. Like, it just
shows top to bottom. They had some of the best shows, I think.
Yeah, so
Right.
going to revisit that stuff right now, I think, is important. Just going back and appreciating stuff.
And this is also a time, like, if you're really a wrestling fan, to support like your favorite indie wrestlers and promotions. Like, go to high spots, go to pro wrestling tees, and support your favorite promotions, support your favorite wrestlers. This is the time to do it.
Pro wrestling tees, buy that shirt, because this is the time, like, you're not going out, you're not going to concerts, you're not buying movie tickets all the time, which we know how expensive that can get.
You're not going to the bar every Friday night, spend
right
$50,
$200 on liquor. Yeah. The girl that didn't talk to you after her friends got birthday shots. Yeah.
Get that 50 off at high spots.
Yeah. Dude, high spots, man, you have a field day. Like, my entertainment center needs a new entertainment center, like, on top of it, to put more wrestling DVDs in, like, because it's just that it's important, man. We got to keep high spots alive. We got to take care of these wrestlers. Like, we talked about this. Oh, the wrestlers that have been released. How many of the people that are being all self-righteous on Twitter went to Pro Wrestling Tees and bought a Matt Cardona shirt or a Good Brothers shirt or whomever? You know, and depending on the wrestler, they're going to be in a better financial position. But, like, it's Marshawn Lynch used to say, I'm all about that action, boss. Like, I fully subscribe to that. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees, support one of your favorite people who just got released. You know, get a Mike Kanellis shirt. I know he's going to, you know, appreciate it. Like, just something.
Right.
But it's better than going on to Twitter and being like, oh, you're fantasy booking where these wrestlers are going to go now. Like, you're being insensitive and like, da-da-da. Shut up and just go to Pro Wrestling Tees, put your little, you know, debit card number in and support that way and show you care that way. Because showing you care is not going on Twitter and arguing with people when people get fired.
Yeah,
and it deflects. Oh, sorry. I was going to say it deflects from the real villain in the situation. The villain is not wrestling Twitter right now. The villain is the billionaire guy who during a pandemic fires a bunch of people when he doesn't need to, and they've had, as you said, Larry, the biggest profit company gain in their history. So go buy a t-shirt, right? What did Eddie Murphy say? Have a Coke and a smile. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees after you have a Coke and a smile. That's it. Go support people. That's all we can say here in this situation, man. What else can you do? We're not getting fun matches right now. You know? Not at all. What good matches happened on TV that you've seen?
Hopefully we get one in this TNT tournament that they haven't.
Dude, I'm going to say, maybe you'll agree. Am I crazy in thinking like the BTE shit is like more entertaining than Dynamite?
Oh, yeah, by far.
And for those that don't know, BTE, Being the Elite, the Young Bucks show, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, it's been this ongoing episodic thing. They're going on their 200th episode. It's crescendoing to this brother versus brother, Matt Jackson versus Nick Jackson. But the funniest thing about it is they're at is it Matt's house or Nick's house, right?
Yeah, the compound, the compound.
Yeah, and Rancho Cucamonga, yeah. They have like this big ass like property with the big basketball hoop and tennis courts, and they just set up a ring there, and Rick Knox is out there, and You know, Brandon Cutler's out there recording it, and
even the best friends are pitching in with the camera movements and stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it honestly is more entertaining than Dynamite, and I think it's like the Boneyard and stuff like that. As much as we shit on WWE, that was a creative way to get out of a jam.
Yep.
It's like, it's not grappling and like in a ring with fans, but it was something we laughed and we were entertained by it. And that's what we kind of want right now. So look at how creative the Bucks have been with this on BTE. Like, BTE's been better than Dynamite.
Yep.
Like, I look forward more to when I see that BTE notification. I get more excited to that than on Wednesdays like I used to, where like Wednesdays now is like they're not really advancing any storylines. Like, maybe the Brody Lee promo will be hilarious. The Jericho Inner Circle stuff will be funny. We'll get a good promo, but other than that, it's like, from a wrestling standpoint, it's kind of like, you're kind of wanting more. You kind of feel cheapened a little bit by it, and it's nobody's fault. But again, this goes to the not having rose-colored glasses, because as much as we shit on WWE's empty arena stuff and how horrible it's been, Dynamite's right there with it right now, as far as not getting any wrestling out of it and watching it, and it's just like, something's missing here. It's not good. So,
Speaking of stuff that's not good, apparently WWE just made Tamina Snuka #1 contender for the women's title. Like 3 days after the doc airs. Got some breaking news, man.
Superfly.
Wow.
Dude, why? What reason? Why is she the #1 contender? Dude.
But see how they are. But on the other hand, they like pretty much just written off everything Chris Benoit related on the network. But they go and do this.
Right.
It's not Tamina's fault.
If you're going, no, nobody's faulting Tamina at all. But it's just like, if you're gonna do one thing, you got to do the other.
Big facts.
Maybe they'll. Is she still going by Snuka? Maybe they took away her last name.
Is she just
get some heat off of her?
Yeah, she's just
I hope so.
now. Well, yeah, I think it's that time of the episode here to put a bow on things. We're ready for, speaking of having matches, we're ready for our triple threat match. And this triple threat match is scheduled for one fall. We got to do a shout out to Howard Finkel, rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Howard Finkel, the GOAT, best ring announcer of all time.
So awesome, dude. Rest in
peace,
man.
Best voice of all time.
First WWE employee, like,
yep.
He's been there since the 70s.
Vince Senior.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one made me sad. I love the Fink, man. All of us can recall being kids and that voice being kind of a voice of your childhood for when especially when we were younger. Hearing the voice of Howard. I'm not going to have a horrible Howard Finkel impression, but yeah, rest in peace, man. His legacy will live on. Like, anybody who's anybody knows, like, he's the GOAT ring announcer of all time.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to Howard Finkel. So in his honor, we're going to do this triple threat for him. But the topic here, I know we super booked and quarterbacked the people who just got fired, but that's good, right? We're trying to give them jobs, because that's what you're crying about on Twitter is they don't have jobs. So we're trying to like speak it into existence of their employment. So this triple threat match here.
Kayfabe Connection.
Oh, we got more Matt Jackson bumpers in the background. So what we want to do in this triple threat match here, the topic of discussion in the triple threat, top 3 defections of all time, meaning wrestler was in company A, defected over to company B. What were the top 3 wrestling defections of all time?
Damn.
Who's going first? I'll go first.
Sure, go for it, Larry.
I'm gonna start with the third choice first. For the third one, I got AJ going to New Japan. I mean, because when I think of New Japan and how I got into it, it was mainly to do with AJ going over there.
Right.
It was like in obscurity at TNA at the time. Shout out to Eric Bischoff. But I mean, he was there at the time where like all the old guys were getting pushed, and TNA was pretty much built on his back, and he was left on the back burner. But when he got to New Japan and took over the Bullet Club from Finn Balor, some people know him as Fergal Devitt, it took off to a whole different height. Like Bullet Club became like the best faction, I think. One of the top two factions of all time, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not gonna get a debate out of me.
And right. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say AJ might be my favorite. Maybe that's a triple threat for another time, but AJ might be my favorite Bullet Club leader of all time.
Dude, when I know we're in the triple threat right now. I don't want to like throw in like tables, ladders, and chairs into it, but real quick, was it War of the Worlds? War of the Worlds when the and they all came out too sweet and like
Tama Tonga, everybody had the flag and stuff like that was crazy.
That was that at Hammerstein. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now, and that theme and like everybody coming out and the Bucks too sweet and smiling because you could see on all their faces are like that was the NWA like coming out of the I Have a Dream paper. Like it was just the coolest. Like who are these guys? They made it. Like these guys are like rock stars right now, and we were watching it happen. And so again,
and that was
getting goosebumps talking about it.
That was at the time too where AJ was like pound for pound best wrestler on the planet. I think like that wasn't even debatable.
Yep.
Then for number 2, I have Jericho going to WWF.
That's a good one.
Just because I mean I was familiar with Jericho from ECW, but I became like a huge Jericho fan during his Nitro run, his WCW run. Like I vividly remember watching the episode when he made the list with Dean Malenko and all that stuff. And I became like a huge fan.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But I remember like the vignettes leading up to him appearing on WWF, like the countdown clocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Hearing that music for the first time, like that was like probably like top 2 favorite interest music.
Yep.
Break the walls down. Didn't it like have like a pyro, like a thing like
yeah. Is the ball dropping like it's New Year's Eve?
Then The Rock acting like he don't know who he is.
Yeah, and the fact
bury him. Yeah, bury him.
The fact
that they debuted him like with The Rock, like that goes to show you how much potential they knew he had.
Right.
Needless to say, he took that and ran with it because look at where he is now.
Right.
And then for number 1, I had to go. Y'all probably guessed this already. 96 Bash at the Beach.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know if it's really like a jumping from company to whatever, but I mean Hogan going to NWO was like growing up in the 80s, like you would never think Hogan would be a heel ever. It was like the quintessential baby face, like the baby what they call it, the baby face, white meat baby face.
White meat baby face.
Yeah.
Dude, Hulk Hogan went from like this to like, please don't hurt me, brother. Like when he was doing the heel, like begging people not to hurt him. But Hollywood, I liked Hollywood. Like I when I was a kid, I cried when Hogan would go over on people. Like I didn't like him. I didn't want him to win. It was annoying. I wanted somebody to beat Hogan so bad. But Hogan as a bad guy, it was like
he like got rid of the red and yellow, came out with the all black with the white boots and
the voodoo child with the belt, dude.
Jimi Hendrix music, like that was
right.
And that really kicked off the Attitude Era. Like people like to think the like DX or whatever. No, the NWO started the Attitude Era.
True that.
And Hogan and the Outsiders, all 3 of them played a big part in the 90s wrestling boom.
Right.
So that's my list. Outsiders and Hogan.
Any honorable mentions?
Ooh, honorable mention. I might have to see. Well, this is somebody going back to where they came from. The night Taz went to go fight Mike Awesome for the ECW belt. Oh. Taz was a contracted WWF wrestler. Mike Awesome was a contracted WCW wrestler. And then fought in the ECW arena for the ECW belt.
Crazy.
We'll never see something like that again.
No.
Never. Nope. Never again. Just like Cena Rock at Survivor Series.
Right.
Logan, you want to go next or you want me to run it?
I go next.
All right, man.
Number 3, I'm gonna have to go with Angle to Impact.
That was another choice I almost thought about.
Huge, man.
That was huge, man. That whole angle, like
Highest
with him
Highest,
headbutting Samoa Joe all bloodied and stuff, like
grossing pay-per-view in TNA history.
yep,
Was the first Angle pay-per-view.
right.
Yep.
My 1 and 2, I think I'm gonna try to put them together. I know Larry already touched base on them, but I'm gonna have to go with the outsiders showing up in WCW. Because I really don't have a pick to go. Like, not too many people in WWF I feel debuted over there kind of did a strong debut to me, other than Jericho. Because if you go look back and look at the Radicals or whatever, that would be probably my honorable mention. But after a while, they wasn't really doing much with them. Like,
Yeah.
can y'all guys hear me? Did I drop?
Yeah. No.
I was waiting for you to finish.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that'd be my top 3: Hall and Nash, and Kurt Angle to Impact.
Nice. Solid, man.
Yeah.
So it's funny, Larry brought up Taz. For my honorable mention, I got to go with Taz. And it's actually the WWE, because that was back when it was like a big deal to see one of your favorites show up.
Yeah.
And dude, hearing that.
The funny thing about it, we talked about him earlier, R.I.P. Howard Fink, he kind of botched that intro, because if you go back and watch it, he kind of said the name before he came up. It kind of spoiled it a little bit, but I mean, everybody who knew.
We were going nuts. I was at
Yeah.
my buddy Jordan's house back in high school, my high school buddy. We were losing our minds. With the towel and just.
That was kind of like how it is now. You know, like I'm saying, he debuted it, and what they did do with him for a while.
No, but I'm saying like that moment.
Like
that moment,
just the
you can't
moment.
deny that.
Like how big was that defective like moment where you're like, oh shit, this
Taz.
is like a
The
mark
Human
out
Suplex Machine is on Monday Night Raw. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's
Right.
fighting against Triple H. That's crazy.
Well, I also could go with Luger showing up on Nitro. That was
honorable
awesome.
mention. Yeah.
Right.
With that Prince of Jay shirt on, like he went through Prince's like Goodwill bag and like put on a Prince shirt. Like
he had the buttons all the way. He had it all the way buttoned to the top.
Probably
at the Mall of America.
Yeah.
Like,
probably stopped that Great American Cookie on the way. That's the ring.
Yeah,
No, what was it?
Cookie, like,
didn't Hulk Hogan have
went
some
to-
pasta restaurant in there?
Yeah, Pasta Mania. Yeah, some Sbarro sauce on his windbreaker.
Right.
I don't have anything like scandalous or like, oh, how could you say it? I don't have anything controversial on my triple threat. I think it's the easy picks, but to me, they were the picks again that were just like, holy shit. Jericho in WWE, number 3. Jericho, man, again, the countdown stuff, you kind of knew maybe, like, could it be Jericho? Because he was up with WCW. But, man, when he came out and, like, this was back in the day where, like, you know, touch phones and, like, landlines and rotary phones where, holy shit, Jericho's on Raw, dude, turn it on. I'm like, oh, shit.
Also, like you said, there was no Twitter either. So, like, we didn't know for sure if it was Jericho or not.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
So that was just such a huge moment. And especially, again, as we said with The Rock, them two going over the exchanges. Like, Jericho was so good on the mic in WCW, of course, goes without saying. Rock's, like, one of the best ever on the mic. So just having those two exchange on the debut was crazy. Number 2, I got to go Hall and Nash, man. You know who we are, but you don't know why we're here. Like,
look at that,
dude, coming out with jeans to Nitro, like, it was crazy. It was so weird because we had not seen anything like that in wrestling, where the outsiders, like people thought it was a shoot. Like, oh, are they supposed to be there? Like, what's happening? Like, it was the craziest thing, dude.
Right.
So Hall and Nash, man, like, when I think Nitro and why I love Nitro, they started it for me was, you know, I liked WCW and I watched it thanks to my dad. My dad put it on the TV on Saturdays, 6:05 to be exact. But, you know, Sting and Steamboat and all that stuff, yeah, and Flair. But that's, as a teenager, it's like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to see dudes with real names, not cartoon characters, come out and just say some real shit on the microphone. And that's what Kevin Nash and Scott Hall did. Dudes gave zero fucks, and it was hilarious. Number one's the obvious too, and in the same vein, who's the third man? Which, rest in peace to Bobby the Brain for spoiling that. Was Hogan in WCW Bash at the Beach, man. It was the craziest. It was the craziest thing ever, man. In the Disney parade with it, like,
you don't even remember anything else about that pay-per-view, but just that moment. Like,
him just going to WCW was a big deal, and like the red and yellow shit was kind of lame.
Right.
But the Hollywood gimmick, as soon as he went heel, it was like,
awesome.
I was all in. It was just.
I remember sitting. I don't know if Logan remembers, but I remember sitting at my grandparents' house on Saturday night watching the coverage of the parade.
Oh, I remember that. I remember it. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
That was back at a time when wrestling ended and you could not stand the fact that you had 6 more days left to find out what was going to happen.
Exactly.
Next Monday.
No internet, nothing.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Remember WWF would show like just pictures of the match from the pay-per-view?
Yeah, there was like a chair shot.
Yeah, they were
frozen. Like
they would never show us a video. They just show us pictures.
They were like in a hold. Like
I used to watch the pay-per-views through the magazines and stuff at Barnes and Noble and stuff. Like,
dude, I remember being in elementary. I would get my work done super quick, and then you had like the desk with the little like, and like I would go down like British Bulldog with the mad beads, like smiling on the cover, and I'd be like, oh, what happened at Beware of Dog in your house? Oh, okay, like.
Right.
I was too poor to watch pay-per-views. Like that's how I caught up with pay-per-views. Was
exactly.
Y'all got spare oxygen? I got some late breaking news.
Oh man, bless us, Larry. We go live. We go live to our oxygen analyst.
Is it Cassius Ono?
No, but I might not be able to read this without laughing.
The floor is
breaking
yours.
news: WWE superstars will climb the corporate ladder at Money in the Bank. The match begins on the ground floor of WWE headquarters, but the briefcase. Let me finish.
What kind of match?
The match. Let me finish. I gotta read the stipulations. The match begins on the ground floor of the headquarters, but the briefcases will be hanging all the way on the roof of the corporate tower.
Wow. Shane McMahon has to be in that match, man. He gonna jump from the roof.
Shane's gonna jump off the Stamford Tower like. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch.
Watch party. We
gotta watch.
We gotta have a watch party
with some wings.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Joe the Butcher. The Butcher coming. I'm going to Joe's and getting me like 24 jumbo wings. I gotta watch this. Just when you think you're out, they pull you right back in with it.
Do you have a brass ring at the top?
Silly goose thing I've ever heard of. They're gonna wrestle at the Stamford Tower in Stamford, Connecticut. That's where the match is gonna happen. Wow. What? Dude. It's like this whole episode was us like lamenting, like, man, like I just need something creative to happen, and then just you were just blessed with it at the end of the episode here.
That's crazy.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for that breaking news, Larry. We'll have to have a good laugh off camera about it too. Oh man. Any plugs or anything you want to get out of the way before we call it a wrap on this week?
I wanna plug Money in the Bank May 10th Sunday.
Wow. Dude, Die Hard and Jace, like
I'm hyped for that one.
Wow. Oh man. Well, on that note, we gotta put a bow on it. He just completely just threw us all off with that stuff. Wow. Yes, there will be a Money in the Bank watch party May 10th. Kayfabe Connection. We'll have special guests again. Yeah, we'll have something funny. We'll have something special cooking for that one for Money in the Bank. But yeah, at the letter K, FABE Connection on Twitter. Follow Kayfabe Connection on Instagram. Subscribe to this video. Click the buttons in the boop right there. The logo's on the bottom. Boop, click the subscribe button. Put a bell on it. Fridays or when the podcast drops every Friday, in addition to sporadic, just bonus episodes that we'll sprinkle in here or there. Friday is your flagship show, so to speak. Plenty of stuff that we'll be able to talk about as more news breaks. And hopefully we get through this to the point where we have more wrestling in modern times to talk about. But if not, there's still plenty of stuff that we can go over, and there's still fun lists and fun topics that we can touch base on too. I think with that being said, share your opinions. Of course, you can be a part of this triple threat tonight. What was your favorite markout moments of people defecting to companies? Comment in the comment section. Tweet at the letter K, FAB Connection on Twitter. Let us know. But let's get a conversation going. Any topics you want us to cover? Any matches you want us to go back and watch? Our thoughts or opinions on, any other maybe future triple threat topics that you'd like us to go over, let us know. Reach us in the comment section at the letter K, FAB Connection on Twitter. Get a conversation going. But that's it. That's it for another episode of Kayfabe Connection. Next time someone tells you wrestling is fake, you tell them, so are movies and TV.